I very beautiful, very well said. I have been trying to figure out for a while what rock bottom looks like and whether or not that's a socially constructed thing or not. And I think that it is largely, maybe not socially, but psychologically constructed from the individual. And I think that that comes back a lot to negative visualization and how deeply you can fall before forcing yourself to pick yourself up. And when I started to think about that, I was psychoanalyzing this painting called the Wheel of Samsara, or the Wheel of Yama.
Yeah.
And it's this Buddhist painting, and it's the wheel of life, the wheel of time. And the way that I was looking at it was that it's this circle, and each spoke of the circle has a different stage of life that we enter. So at the top you have your heavenly life, which contains the Buddha, and then in another spoke there are the demigods, and then in another spoke there's human life, and in another spoke there's the animal realm, where I think that that's more about hedonic pleasure. And then in the Preto realm, it's the realm of the hungry ghost. So their necks are very tight and their bellies are very swollen. So they're hungry all the time, but they can't actually consume. And from a drug rehabilitation perspective, I would say that that's the area in which you're in recovery and you're always wanting this thing, but you know that you can't have it. And then the bottom realm is hell. And I was trying to figure out why people go to hell and how long that they're there for. And a part of that was, number one, I think the negative visualization is understanding that bad things can happen to you, and actually visualizing and understanding what could happen to you in this world that is rife with suffering and completely full of it. Is that understanding all the vicissitude that you could experience in the world, it enables you to bounce back faster from it. And I think that's a part of the social construction of rock bottom, is that you hit a point where you decide, okay, that's it. I'm going to stop moping around. I'm going to stop being a victim. You get up and then you start to ascend again to go to your heavenly realm. And it was funny because last week when you and I were supposed to get on our call, I jumped on and it was 9:30, and I was thinking to myself, it got to 9:45, and I thought that we were getting on at 9:30, and I went, God, it's 9:45. I feel like I'm being stood up by this guy. This sucks. This is the worst. And then I go back and check our DMs, and we had actually agreed on 9. And so immediately I go, oh, I'm the asshole. I'm the guy that messed this up and wasted this guy's time. And then I just laid down on my floor for about 30 minutes and didn't do anything. And was like, wow, this sucks. That was an opportunity, and I totally missed it. And after about 30 minutes of moping around, I sat back up, got onto my desk, and just started writing. I went, okay, this is an opportunity. This is an experience. I can learn from this. I can learn to actually really commit to my schedule and understand what's actually going on all the time and check it more consistently and have a better idea. I can cross my T's and dot my I's. And this can be a growth experience rather than something that I'm going to mope around about for the next week. And I think that that's an example of that rebound effect, where if you understand that every experience that you have, whether it be objectively positive or negative, you can subjectively turn that around. I mean, if you break your leg in half, everyone can go away and say, this is going to be the worst. When I ruptured my Achilles when I was 21, and then I ruptured it again when I was 23. And anytime someone would ask me about it, they would say, oh, that sucks. I would go, no, this is going to be the best experience of my life.
Yeah.
And then it turned into the best experience of my life, just through that mindset of, I'm going to get better.
Yeah, I mean, people tell me all the time, like, I'm injured, what can I do? I'm like, man, it's gonna be the best thing ever happened to you, because now you can like learn more about mindfulness. You can get your visualization practice down. You can start meditating, and when you come out of that, you're just gonna be like a Zen warrior. Whereas before then, you didn't have. Maybe they had time, but they weren't gonna prioritize the time to become this like Zen warrior. So it's like, man, you're going to come back and have your mental game down, and you'll have that foundation for the rest of your career, assuming you want to stick with it, right? And then rock bottom is interesting because I kind of hit, I would say, rock bottom in France that year when I found Stoicism. And I think it's kind of like this thought of, because it's subjective, right? There's this thought of losing happiness in your life, where happiness is like the external pleasures. I lost my girlfriend. I lost my house. I lost my job. I lost my money. These things are outside of us, right? But like, did you lose that joy inside of you? You lose that optimism? I don't think so. I think rock bottom is like society standards of like what you should strive to have. So you lose that, but you can still bounce back because maybe you still have abundance. You find abundance. You find that gratitude. You're like, you know what? I can do it. So perception is key. And once again, going back to Stoicism, that's all it is. It's just like, it's like in Smash Brothers, it's like choose your character, or it's like choose your perspective or perception. Do I want to choose the perception of a victim, perception of a warrior, perception of a mindful athlete that loves challenges? Like, what do you want to choose? Once again, it's up to you. Like, you decide. It's not the coach. It's not the club. It's like I had a lot of peace over my head this past year being cut by the national team. And then they brought me back. I was just like, well, I've already been cut. Like, I'm just gonna play my style. Like, coach really doesn't like it. Like when I play and like I talk shit, I'm just like, well, I'm gonna do whatever I want. Like I had the perception of like gratitude and abundance rather than before. It was like scarcity. Like, oh, I don't want to get cut. Oh no, I'm afraid. And it's not saying that like I'm trying to be like this like bad competitor athlete, but it's just like when I kind of like talk shit or get into it, I'm much more present and much more confident on the court. But before it was like the scarcity, like I don't want to make an error, don't want to get cut. But once you experience the thing you're fearing, then it has like no hold over you.